this has to be a scam, right? Like, there's no way that they are confidently saying this.
So to be clear, though, you're telling a 24-year-old who can't find a job that hopefully their parents who make $149,000 a year will use their $250 check to help them out? Like, can you see how the message feels
that's
flat?
not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is...
Welcome to Over Opinionated with Jasmine Lane. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already to stay up to date on all of the really weird things going on in our society. Like the video, and most importantly, comment your thoughts down below. Now, Vassy Capello's, we were fighting a little bit. I don't think she knew, but she kind of threw me off with one of her last interviews, and I wasn't quite sure how I felt about her anymore, but I think she has fully redeemed herself with this one. I honestly think this needs to be a new running sport of sorts. Like, how many times can the Liberal government gaslight and lie within a certain period of time? Because wow, was there ever a lot exposed in this interview that debuted just yesterday. So we've been chatting about this proposed GST break, 5% over the holiday season, lasting 2 months, and then an additional $150 rebate to individuals making less than $150,000 per year. Of course, this has not passed yet. It's not guaranteed. It will have to make its way into the House. I did a full video calling out this absolute manipulation that the Liberal government is trying to do by bribing us with money in a previous video. So I will link that in this one if you want to give that a watch. It's a very interesting breakdown of things, and the plot has thickened because there are even more interesting breakdowns. That's why I don't like to report on things as soon as they happen, because there's always so much new information that people don't consider that comes in the days following an initial announcement. And just how big of a disaster and embarrassment this is. Wow.
His government plans to scrap the GST on some goods for 2 months starting December 14th and through to February. The list of eligible items includes a slate of grocery items, restaurant meals, beer and wine, kids' clothing, diapers, and even Christmas trees, both real and artificial. The Prime Minister is also promising to send $250 checks to more than 18 million Canadians who earned $150,000 or less in 2023. Those rebates will hit Canadian bank accounts sometime in the early spring. The measures are estimated to cost federal coffers more than $6 billion.
This measure is an affordability measure. It's about making life better and easier for Canadian families.
What we have is a 2-month temporary tax trick.
Vassy is Minister for Women, Gender Equality and Youth. She's in Toronto.
We are going to be doing a full breakdown of just how much this is actually going to cost taxpayers, because it looks really nice how it's packaged right now, but I promise you, they do not want you to know the actual breakdown. But I do. So we will be sharing that towards the end of this video.
I wanted to start off by referencing the fact that your portfolio specifically oversees youth and is aimed at representing youth in this country who are right now, I know you're familiar with this, at record levels of unemployment. And they were in 2023 as well, which is the year that your government is using to calculate these checks that you're sending out. Why would you send money, Minister, to someone who makes $149,000 a year and not to a student who can't find a job?
Thanks so much for asking this question, Vassy, because it gives me a chance to talk about the programs that we have for young people. You're absolutely right. Unemployment is at record levels. And when you factor in the intersections, when you factor in Indigenous, racialized youth with disabilities, 2S LGBT youth, the numbers are even higher.
Dare I pop in quickly and just say, what? The rates of unemployment for 2S LGBTQ plus youth is 3 times as high? She had me with the disability. She had me with the Indigenous. Why aren't gay or queer people getting a job unless they don't want a job, or unless there's just no jobs to get because our country has been riddled with foreign hires who are paid lower than the Canadian minimum wage is set at? I can't personally think of any logical reason that isn't based in fear-mongering for why gay or queer people don't have jobs.
Sometimes 3 times as high. So we have something called the Youth Employment Skills Strategy, and under that portfolio is Canada Summer Jobs. So there will be 70,000 young people that will get jobs. That is open right now for employers to take advantage of this summer. It's also mentoring opportunities. And from what I hear, employers tell me that a lot of the times those kids go on to part-time work, they stay on because the experience is excellent. So there is that. There's also what we call Canada Service Corps, and there's a micro grant component, so young people can start up, small business, or if they have a business idea, because young people in our country are amazing. They are so creative, and they're on the cutting edge of so much. So there's that for them as well. And there are also organizations that take advantage of what we offer and for the Youth Employment Skills Strategy under that in the CSC, where they can really hone in on what young people need, what they are looking for, and prepare them for this brand new world. So there are a lot of strategies and programs under the youth portfolio that, frankly, a lot of Canadians don't know about, but a lot of youth are taking advantage of.
Well, if these programs are so wildly successful, why don't more Canadians know about them? And if they're working, why are youth unemployment rates so high? I'm genuinely very curious, and I don't say this to try and imply anything at all, but when it comes to those polling numbers of, youth unemployment rate, are those youths that want a job but cannot find employment, or are those just generalized who if asked, do you have a job, they say no, and the reason why no could be because they don't want a job, or maybe they don't need a job because they come from a good family. I don't know. If you know, please let me know, because the way that this is positioned is as though there's all of these young people who are desperately trying to get a job and simply cannot. And of course that does exist, but I'm really curious where that data actually comes from, and if it is in fact from people who want a job but cannot find one, because even working at McDonald's these days requires a 4-year bachelor degree. I'm obviously joking. Or if these are just kids who haven't quite figured out what they want in life, or just don't want a job because either they're relying on government subsidies, or they come from a good family, or, whatever the reason may be behind that.
But Minister, I think the point is that even if they're trying to take advantage of it, it's not helping the overall picture, right? Canada Summer Jobs, I've been covering for years, right? It's been in place for a really long time. Despite that, unemployment among youth in this country, and you rightly point out, among Indigenous youth is even higher right now at 20, I believe it's 22%. Can you understand how they would see this announcement from your government and wonder, hey, what message is this sending me? You're sending someone who makes $149,000 a year a check, but you won't send a student who's unemployed, or a senior, for example, who's living on, just government assistance.
When it comes to seniors, and I'll deal with that first, the dental care program, I want to say that 50 to 60% of the million people that are taking advantage of that program, free dental care, are seniors.
Yeah, free dental care for the one time a year visit. How does that help them with affordability?
And point out that the OAS was topped up by 10% as well. But back to young people, I look at this as a family situation. So we can't control, Vassy, how much prices are once people get up to the checkout, but we can't control how much they keep in their pocketbook. And there are, I'm thinking of, my family friends, we have youth within those families. So if those families are saving money, if they're saving money at the grocery store under this tax break, this holiday tax break, if they are saving money when it comes to the buying of Christmas presents and making sure that families can come together and save money in doing so, then entire families benefit.
So to be clear, though, you're telling a 24-year-old who can't find a job that hopefully their parents who make $149,000 a year will use their $250 check to help them out? Like, can you see how the message feels
that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it will also and likely benefit them. But I'm pointing out the programs that we do have for young people. There are so many people that I meet, Vassy, that say, listen, I'm young, I don't have kids, so I'm not benefiting from the Canada Child Benefit. I'm not benefiting when it comes to daycare or a national school food program. But young people, there are programs in place for them. And I would say, too, that this isn't just one level of government that has a hand in helping our young people and providing mentorship opportunities and workplace and opportunities for them. But I will say that there are those people that we are really targeting here, the middle class that we're targeting here, that say they don't see themselves. And now there's something tangible where they will. The holidays are upon us, and this is very much a time, and I would I would point to small businesses as well. I've got many small businesses in downtown Toronto in my riding that are really excited about this, where, Christmas time, the holiday period is a make or break time for them. And so they are so excited that, this might mean increased business for them. And most people that are looking at this say that's exactly what this will mean. This will mean more people walking through the doors of, city streets, going into small businesses, many of them which are owned by women, and I would say racialized and Indigenous women as well, who are going to see increased sales. And that's a good thing.
I'm just going to say that that probably never happened. I can't think of a single business owner who would be pumped at new customers because they have a 5% off sale on some items. I don't know of anybody who is going to do extra shopping because on a $30 purchase, they saved $1.05.
This now applies to people when they're checking out at the grocery counter and they're understanding that they're saving money. That's huge.
And then even the $250 rebate, people aren't going to be spending that to go shopping. That rebate is expected to come, as they said, in the spring. So you're not going to see this big improvement around holiday shopping season because we won't have it until the springtime, if it passes. And I'm willing to bet, given the affordability crisis, while they want to position this as, oh, it's gonna be so good for local businesses. No, do you wanna know what people are gonna do with that money? They're gonna use it to fuel up their car, which is at that point going to be even more expensive thanks to the carbon tax increase, or they're gonna use it to pay their own bills or debt. It's not like you're giving people $5,000 to go on a spree here. You're saving them 5% GST, which sure is a step in the right direction. Or is it? So let's do some math here, okay? So the Liberal government, let's just go solely based on the $250 rebate. So that is actually going to cost the average Canadian taxpayer about $322. Let's also factor in that they are using the data from people in 2023 who filed their taxes with an income of or below $150,000 annually. That means roughly 18.7 million people qualify for this extra $250 bonus, putting the total cost of paying that out bare minimum at $4.7 billion. Do you remember our deficit? It's quite high. AKA, this money is borrowed because we don't have any money whatsoever to spare. As it stands right now, the interest rate for that is about 3.5%, which would then add an extra $2.5 billion in interest from the loan that will be required to take out this money and put it into your pockets, which now brings the actual cost to approximately $7.2 billion. Let's also not forget that an average of 39 cents for every dollar spent is wasted on government bureaucracy. So in order for this payout to even happen, we can assume, based on those figures given, that that will then be an additional $2.8 billion that this is going to cost taxpayers, which means the total cost of this $250 rebate is somewhere to the tune of $10 billion. So according to the data from 2023 tax returns, all in all, that would mean that roughly 31 million Canadians are paying about $322 roughly, so that 18.7 million Canadians are able to get $250. How the Trudeau Liberal government could say that this is helping Canadians and that it is affordable is truly just beyond me, because they have to know that that is not true at all. There is not a single thing that is free. And I think that is the common misconception that a lot of Canadians have when it comes to government programs. And it's why a lot of people think that things are really good and they don't look into the numbers. But when you look into the numbers, you see that it is very rare. I would argue almost never that you actually get more than what you give with the Trudeau Liberal government and any government in that regard, because everything that the government funds, programs, whatever, that is all coming out of your taxpayer dollars. But of course, the Trudeau government is hoping nobody thinks about that and that they're just happy to get 5% off on booze. That's a bad business move in my books. I'd love to know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment your thoughts down below, and I will talk to you very soon.